In the title of the previous episode about television, I referenced the children's song, "Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see." The same goes for movies. There's a satanic agenda running rampant in Hollywood right now, and it has been that way for a long time. Movies of all kinds are filled with Masonic symbolism, Illuminati symbolism, pagan symbolism, satanic symbolism, Wiccan symbolism, and you wouldn't even know it. As I've said before on this channel, the best way to hide something is in plain sight. As long as you're unaware of it, the industry will continue to condition you, desensitize you, demoralize you, dampen your conscience, and gradually and subconsciously win your allegiance to Satan. Movie posters alone can tell you a lot about the intent of the movie. We're going to look at several movie posters from the last 100 plus years and some screenshots from within the movies as well. I want you to pay attention to the abundance of one-eyed symbolism. People facing sideways, one eye covered, one eye looking completely different than the other, pyramids with an eye peeking through. It's all over the place, and there's a reason for that. As I mentioned in episode 2 and several other episodes, one eye represents the all-seeing eye, or the eye of Horus, the ancient falcon-headed Egyptian god. One-eye symbolism is symbolic of Horus because he is usually depicted standing sideways, therefore only one of his eyes is shown, and the eye of Horus was regarded by the ancient Egyptians as a symbol of good health, royal power, and protection from evil. So to pay tribute to Horus, as you can see in these movie posters, people cover one eye or only show one eye. Where else do we see this symbolism? The logos of CBS, Time Warner Cable, and Taco Bell all feature one-eye symbolism. Plankton from SpongeBob, Mike from Monsters Inc., Leela from Futurama, Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, and the mascots from the 2012 Olympics all have just one eye. One eye is displayed in the seals of the state of Colorado, the Delta Tau Delta fraternity, the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity, the Phi Delta Theta fraternity, the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity, the University of Chile, and the University of Mississippi. Rappers often cover one eye on stage or when posing for a picture. Many album covers in pop music, rap music, and rock music feature one-eye artwork. Artists also often wear clothes and or jewelry that show one eye. Many celebrities on magazine covers have been shown covering one eye. In sports, the current team logos of the Boston Celtics, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Atlanta Hawks, the Dallas Mavericks, the Arizona Cardinals, the Baltimore Ravens, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Denver Broncos, the Oakland Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks, the Minnesota Vikings, the Buffalo Bills, the Atlanta Falcons, the New England Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Nashville Predators, the Florida Panthers, the Ottawa Senators, the Vancouver Canucks, the San Jose Sharks, the Seattle Kraken, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the FC Dallas Soccer Club, the DC United Soccer Club, and the New York Red Bulls all have one-eyed symbolism. It all goes back to the Eye of Horus. In Freemasonry, the symbol is called the Eye of Providence. There are claims that the Eye of Providence represents the Eye of God, but those same claims probably come from people who believe Lucifer is God. The Freemasons refer to their deity as the great architect of the universe, and the eye symbol is used to remind every Mason to be mindful of his thoughts and deeds that are being observed by the GAOTU at all times. This kind of sounds like the Eye of Sauron, or Great Eye, a symbol from Lord of the Rings that was adopted by the Dark Lord in the Third Age. It is said in the movie that few could endure its terrible gaze, and I'm sure that goes for people within the movie and people watching the movie too. The Eye of Sauron was used as a symbol on armor and banners of Mordor, representing Sauron's quasi-omniscience. So why is all of this significant? Because Horus is regarded as omniscient. Why is Horus regarded as omniscient? Because Horus is regarded as Lucifer. Check out these quotes. The all-seeing eye was representative of the omniscience of Horus, the sun god. Called the Mal Okyo, or evil eye, this object is regarded by all Satanists as the symbol of Lucifer. In Egyptian mythology, Horus is Lucifer. So in these movie posters and all the other things I've mentioned, people are pledging their allegiance and their worship. and it's not to God. How else is the Eye of Horus significant? The symbol is used in divination, hexes, curses, black magic, and psychic control. Aleister Crowley, an English occultist and self-proclaimed as the wickedest man in the world, adopted the all-seeing eye as his personal symbol in the early 20th century. The symbol is featured on the pyramid hat he was known for wearing. In Norse mythology, Odin was known as the father of the gods, and he is depicted as an old man with one eye. The all-seeing eye symbol can also be found in secret societies, including Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, and OTO. When you see the single eye at the top of a pyramid, this is representative of the Illuminati and Freemasonry. Each level or step of the pyramid represents each socioeconomic class. The eye at the top of the pyramid represents the plutocrats, or the most elite, and their self-proclaimed status over the rest of mankind. We see the same image all the time on the back of the $1 bill. It was added to the bill in 1935 by 33rd degree Freemason President Franklin D. Roosevelt. You often see celebrities like Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Beyonce posing with the pyramid symbol over one eye. It's the same idea. They're showing their elite status. But when musical artists cover one eye, it has devastating spiritual implications. When you hide one eye, you effectively block half of your vision, right? So in symbolic terms, you become half blind to the truth. By hiding one eye, celebrities symbolically sacrifice a vital part of their being for temporary material gain. And since eyes are the windows to the soul, this gesture symbolizes the partial or total loss of one's soul. There are all kinds of satanic messages in movies beyond just the all-seeing eye. Heaven Can Wait is the story of a guy who goes to hell despite people thinking he is not qualified to go, so he spends the whole movie proving that he is. This movie was originally called Satan and Me, but the title was changed out of concern that people would not go see a film about the devil. But the story did not change, and this came out in 1946, so satanic movies have been disguised as innocent movies for a long time. Up in Smoke, Satan's waiting to take them below. A guy sells his soul to win a horse race. The Devil's Messenger, the character of Satan, is referred to as Cheney. Satan's Triangle, the devil appears in multiple guises. On this poster, you almost miss it, but if you look inside that O, the number of the Mark of the Beast is right there. The Devil and Max Devlin, their main goal is swiping soul. Yikes. And featuring Bill Cosby too. Wouldn't have suspected that one. That's funny, they both look like George Burns, portraying George Burns as God and the devil. Hollywood thinks this is a joke, but it has a whole lot of truth to it. As it says in Isaiah 14:12-15, "How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning! How you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations! For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mountain of the congregation, on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, to the lowest depths of the pit." Wanting to be like God is what got Lucifer kicked out of heaven in the first place. But as you can see, that isn't stopping actors and filmmakers and directors and producers from making Satan their God. Harry Angel has been hired to search for the truth. Pray he doesn't find it. That's pretty blunt if you ask me. And again, they tried to disguise Satan with a character named Louis Cypher. This film blends together witchcraft and love, summoning the perfect guy who turns out to be the devil. In this film, whoever dialed that number received supernatural powers and turned into satanic killers. We are not angels. Well, thank you for telling me all I need to know to not watch that movie. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Disney initially released the film through Touchstone Pictures because the studio believed the film would be too dark and scary for kids. Hello, it uses cartoon characters. What targets children more than that? Cartooning is one of the most popular tricks in the book to trick children into watching the satanic stuff. Needful Things, we see another deal with the devil, this time with the whole town. The Prophecy. On ancient ground at the edge of the world, an evil born in heaven is about to be unleashed on earth. Sounds like Satan, right? Well, this movie actually depicts the angel Gabriel as an evil character. Shocking, isn't it? Well, we're going to see another example in a minute of righteous characters who were depicted as evil on the silver screen. The Devil's Advocate. Again, Satan appears in human form and gets someone to sell their soul. This poster has an upside-down cross hidden in the T. Remember, the upside-down cross is a symbol of mocking and rejecting Christ and showing loyalty to Satan. Bedazzled, now the devil is made female. Got the snake symbolic of the Garden of Eden, as well as the stereotypical red suit and tail. The Crow, Wicked Prayer. This entire movie is about a satanic cult, and even though the title says crow, that bird on the poster looks more like a phoenix, which is another symbol of Satan. Constantine looks like fallen angel symbolism to me. More pagan symbolism here with some type of foreign god. This movie is basically a modern depiction of the Faust story, which Hollywood clearly loves a lot. Drive angry, all hell breaks loose. A cult threatens to sacrifice a baby, which ties into a lot of rumors about secret societies today. The Devil's Carnival, using a word that means praise God to praise the devil. That's just blasphemy. And in Bad President, the story goes that Donald Trump won the 2020 presidency by making a deal with the devil, disguised as a man named Luther. There are a few more movies and movie franchises that I think need to mention, and then I'll wrap this thing up. First, the Harry Potter franchise. Harry Potter has definitely done more harm than good. It has corrupted the minds of not just children, but Christians too. Quote from Devin World's blog. The wizarding world of Harry Potter has cast its spell on many unsuspecting muggles around the world. Everything from books, movies, video games, toys, other merchandise, and even a theme park at Universal Studios. But when Harry Potter began to make its mark on the world, there was plenty of backlash from Christians across the US. Over the years, as Harry Potter grew to be a pop culture phenomenon, more Christians started to accept Harry Potter into their homes. Throughout the years, many Christians have turned a blind eye to the scary satanic messages being transmitted to their kids through movies, music, and games. When it comes to Harry Potter, there is no shortage of frightening subliminal messages in the Harry Potter series. End quote. Harry Potter has desensitized so many consciences, but don't be deceived. This franchise is evil. In one of the trailers, we see these words, "A new order begins." The number of the Mark of the Beast is embedded in the clothes of villain Bellatrix Lestrange. Harry Potter is seen with many occult symbols, including an owl, tattoos of skulls and snakes, a broom, and a lightning bolt on his forehead. As for the top left, that triangle is called the Sign of the Hallows. According to fandom, it is a triangular mark used as a representation of the Deathly Hallows, 3 legendary objects that allegedly, if united, would make one the Master of Death. So how has Harry Potter affected the world? Wicca is now the fastest growing religion among preteens in the United States. The Pagan Federation of England affirmed they received thousands of letters from children. Children asked the location of local Wicca covens to attend and learn the occult techniques promoted in Harry's books. "I used to believe in what they taught us at Sunday school," said Ashley Daniels, a 9-year-old girl from Pennsylvania, conjuring up an ancient spell to summon Cerberus, the 3-headed hound of hell. "But the Harry Potter books showed me that magic is real, something I can learn and use right now, and that the Bible is nothing but boring lies." Here's some more quotes from children. "I feel like I'm inside Harry's world. If I went to wizard school, I'd study everything." That came from a 10-year-old. "I'd like to go to wizard school and learn magic and put spells on people. I'd make up an ugly spell and then it's payback time," from a 9-year-old. "I liked it when the bad guys killed the unicorn and Voldemort drank its blood," from a 13-year-old. "The Harry Potter books are cool because they teach you all about magic and how you can use it to control people and get revenge," said by a 10-year-old who unfortunately joined a satanic cult. And one more quote from an unfortunately reliable source. "Harry Potter is an absolute godsend to our cause," said by High Priest Egan of the First Church of Satan in Salem, Massachusetts. So what are children learning about from Harry Potter? Potions, spells, drinking blood, astral projection, curses, contests involving magic, soul power transfer, demonic possession, and clairvoyant remote viewing are all featured in Harry Potter. So children are learning all about Satanism, witchcraft, and the occult from simply reading Harry Potter books and watching Harry Potter movies. From those heartbreaking quotes of children that I read, it's plain to see that the movies you watch have an effect on you. The late professor of psychology Franklin Fearing once said, "With a few special exceptions, Everybody, social scientists, movie makers, and laymen, seems to agree that there are profoundly important relationships between motion pictures and human behavior. So be careful about what you're feeding your soul, because it can have long-term effects. Another movie worth mentioning is Noah, which came out in 2014. I'm sure many Christians were excited, or at the very least intrigued, when this movie came out as a change of pace to all the filth that's out there. But this movie was nothing to be excited about. The story of Noah was twisted from a biblical narrative to a Gnostic, pagan, pro-evolutionist anecdote. Quote from Darren Aronofsky, the director and co-writer of the Noah film, who is a self-professed atheist, by the way. I don't think it's a very religious story. I think it's a great fable that's part of many different religions and spiritual practices. He later said, Noah is the least biblical film ever made. Straight from the horse's mouth. Why would you trust an atheist to depict a Bible story on the silver screen? Atheists and Satan worshippers know the Bible very well, often just as much as Christians do. But that does not mean you should support movies like Noah. Let's take a deeper look into how much Mr. Aronofsky butchered this story. Noah, played by Russell Crowe, is portrayed as evil and ruthless. In this movie, Noah is willing to murder 3 men in order to try to save the life of an animal that had been severely wounded. To this Hollywood Noah, animal life was far more important than human life. He didn't really try to save the life of a young woman who Ham had tried to save. Moreover, if Noah's daughter-in-law gave birth to a girl, Noah said, "From the moment of her birth, I will cut her down." Throughout the second half of the film, Noah is obsessed with making sure that all of humanity is wiped out so that the innocents can live peacefully in a new post-flood Eden. But Noah's not this evil character that Darren Aronofsky conjured up. As it says in Genesis 6, 8, and 9, the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. All throughout the movie there are biblical inaccuracies, including Noah's father dying more than 500 years before he actually did in Scripture, and God using the Big Bang and evolution. Methuselah is portrayed as a witch doctor, fallen angels appear and are depicted as the good guys, and God is portrayed as vengeful and the mastermind behind evolution, as I said before. Just ridiculous. It's like there was a game of telephone. Maybe Moses started the game, passing the message of the story of Noah, and maybe Darren Aronofsky was the last person in line in this telephone game. And as you know, if you've played this game, the last person somehow ends up with something completely different from what was originally said. So anyway, doing a little research can save you from making a big mistake, like watching the Noah movie. Next, the Marvel franchise. Is it not alarming to you that there is a subgroup in the comics called the Illuminati? They're a secret society, they work in secret, they're referred to as an elite group. We've heard this terminology before. There is also a group in Marvel Comics called the Cabal. They're even more villainous than the Illuminati, and Cabal is another term used by secret societies. If that's not convincing enough for you, it's worth noting that several characters in the comics depict Satan. There's a character named Lucifer who has similarly fallen from heaven. Another character, Johnny Blaze, summoned the devil several times and eventually sold his soul. In other Marvel plotlines, several high-level demons, such as Mephisto, Azazel, Marduk Kurios, and Satanish, have claimed to be the biblical Satan. The frost giant Loki conjures up demonic magic. The demon gods Surtur, Seth, and Amatsu Mikaboshi are all given Satan-like roles in the comics. And in DC and Vertigo comics, the devil is represented by Lucifer Samael Morningstar, the fallen angel, the former ruler of hell, and the leader of the unholy trinity. Naren is another fallen angel, who gives villains superpowers in exchange for their souls. Darkseid, also known as the god of evil, is another major character in the series. So if the comics have this kind of shady background, why on earth would we go see the movies? Don't fall prey to the hype that surrounds movie franchises like Marvel. It's all part of an agenda. There's satanic influence in movies for kids as well. I briefly mentioned The Nightmare Before Christmas earlier. In the movie Peter Pan, there is a character named Tinkerbell. Looks and sounds innocent, right? Wrong. Tinkerbell is a fairy, and fairies have some dark history. According to an article by Lux Fair, fairies are beings who occupy a middle realm between earth and heaven. They are believed to be guardians of the dead, living in an otherworld that exists between the living and the dead. It is considered bad luck to disturb the homes of fairies, and the fairies will take revenge on people who do, causing misfortune, illness, and even death. Fairies have magical powers, such as the ability to bewitch people and animals, and are sometimes associated with demons and fallen angels. In lore, they are capable of bewitchment and possession, requiring exorcism. Now fairies are depicted as cute, puny characters with no demonic associations, but that's just not the case. It's no coincidence that we see several Disney movies that feature fairies: Maleficent, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Tinkerbell, Cinderella, you name it. Madagascar is another movie that isn't safe from that one-eyed symbolism I've been talking about, as well as a few other satanic symbols. You see the one-eye cover, top right, 666, top left, and the seal of Satan at the bottom. There's also the scene where the help sign falls apart and spells the word hell. Here are various other images from kids' movies that show the same undeniable satanic symbolism. So is it a sin to watch movies? Well, there isn't a commandment that says, "Thou shalt not watch movies." But if what we've seen today is any indication, we definitely need to be careful about which movie we watch. Take some time to personally evaluate the movie before you watch it. Read the synopsis, check the rating and the details of the rating. Do some research on the filmmaker if you need to. Once you're done finding out more about the movie, ask yourself the question: if Jesus were sitting next to me during this movie, would I still watch it? If you can't answer that question in the affirmative, don't go. Walk out in the middle of the movie if you have to. And if you're watching the movie at home, turn it off. Also keep in mind that your movie ticket purchases send a message to filmmakers. When we spend money on films with a negative message or inappropriate content, it tells filmmakers the public wants more films similar to it. Likewise, rejecting negative films and supporting films with a positive message encourages filmmakers to make more films that encourage and inspire others. If you'd like some recommendations for good Christian and inspirational movies, I'd be happy to share. With all that being said, it is important to always honor God and to do things that are pleasing in His sight. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. With that being said, I'll wrap it up for this episode. Hope to see you all in the next one. Be vigilant, my friends.